Greetings, this is Frank Hanley from Fire 716 Radio. We're getting ready to walk into the council meeting taking place here in Niagara Falls, New York. I'm a little bit late, but we're going to get in there, see what's going on, and I'm going to turn my camera around, and we are going to rock out this. I'll be right back.
Yeah, um, we anticipate the only other phase, so to speak, of this IT upgrade will be when current advisors assist us in the preparation of an RFP for the need to obtain new business system, the AS400, which is antiquated and needs to be replaced. The final piece will be the purchase of the business system. Again, part of this phase of Arrow Advisors will be providing assistance to city staff to create the appropriate RFP and then assistance in evaluating the consulting process. That's vendors was the best system. So other than this phase, the only other element that will come before you will be that whole business-based business system that will be the operating system for the city going forward.
I guess I was wondering, of course, for 1.7, I was wondering what would be the more so the difference in as far as services is required for this upgrade. What would we see different?
Well, I think what you'll see is, one, we will be able to participate, as every other municipality does, in simple interaction with county government. RAS 400 doesn't network well with the other technologies. Um, Internally, our departments will see a much improved business operations system for them to be able to do those things that are required within their departments. Right now, so much of what we do because of the system is mired in continued manual effort. So we are putting ourselves in a place that allows us to at least move forward in the way we should deliver information between systems, or between departments, and deliver systems between level and government. The other piece of this will be our departments will all see the replacement of computers that are anywhere from 10 to 15 years old. I don't profess to have expertise in the area of computer technology, but I do know that equipment that is 10 to 15 years old in the technology field will be considered tragedy.
Will we be able to pay for the bills and stuff like online with this
The
new system?
ultimate goal, council member, is to get there. The ultimate goal is for you, or any of the residents that are here, that want to put up a fence, want to do something with their home. They'll be able to interface with departments from their living room at 7 at night. I mean, a department to respond to you. you'll be able to do your part right from your home. And it will allow us to then, in the coming workday, be able to expedite and address those issues. That is the goal of this.
I also think it's, thank you, Mayor, for answering the question. I also think it's important to understand too that it's mentioned in some of our paperwork here, the cybersecurity, the virtual security, be able to do those things and transfer the information from a resident to government is important as well. And the upgrade of the systems will have those protections, which was something I thought was important.
You all are aware of the importance of firewalls and security protection. One of the accomplishments through phase one is that all of our current, every major city building now has built-in and secure firewalls. I remember when I first came to conversation with Avero, I asked them about our security. Jokingly, they said, well, on one hand, you may not have to worry about anyone hacking it because they're going to look at it and think, this can't be this easy. And on the other hand, you could have somebody in kindergarten hacking into the system because it is that easy. So much of that has been improved by this first phase. And then ultimately, the things that you mentioned, Councilmember, that's kind of where the end product.
Item number 7, item number 8, agenda item number 9, agenda item number 10, agenda item number 11.
Yes, I would like to know, what is the assessed value of this property? Selling for $650.
Councilman, I don't have that information with me. I asked that question earlier, I could have gotten it, but unfortunately I don't have that. But this is, just to say, this is, I believe, this is a property, that's located to this person's property already there. So the property, I'm looking at it, so it's a fair market.
Councilman Wright also add just to your question, none of these items, this item, the next item, when they come in, it's my understanding that the law department confers with the assessor's office to determine the appropriateness of an offer or value, so that we are doing our best to make sure that we're sort of targeting with a fair market value for any person that's out there.
Agenda item number 12, agenda item number 13.
So I'll just stop to share quickly. So I did have a question that I had asked the administration earlier about this. I was curious as to when we build the streets and we do all the road paving and that work, what we actually receive in terms of the sale, the revenue we receive in terms of the sale of the street lines. And it's about $50,000 roughly annually back to the city, which I think is a good way to capture some revenue, off of this work. So I just wanted to share that because I think that's
He might get more votes. Like,
They use it, say, they're looking to try and improve the pathways at the golf course, for instance, or some of those locations. And there's really not much else we can do with those buildings. They were used, in one instance, with regard to the Unfruit Road, to connect Crescent to Roselle, for public safety purposes. Because at one point Crescent was a dead end, at the west end of the Crescent. And so it was causing difficulties for everything from emergency vehicles to snowplows. And so this past summer, early fall, we completed a fast there now. So that is, and that was a location we used some access.
Agenda item number 14. Agenda item number 15. Agenda item number 16. Agenda item number 17.
I'd like to talk about 17. What we have in front of us, appreciate the comments, Jeff.
This is looking to send out what's called an RFI, which is a request for information, basically, intent. It's what we're looking for is we're going to send this out, we're going to see who is interested in looking at the city's master comprehensive plan. It will also tell us the approximate cost if we have somebody do the city master plan. I was upstairs and I sat with our planning department, and right now our planning department is 2.5 people. We have 2 full-timers and an intern that comes in a few days a week. To do a comprehensive plan, you're probably looking at 6 to 10 full-time people up in the office, which we don't have, I doubt we'll have anytime in the near future. Anything that we come up with also has to be looked at by the state council, because they have vested interest in the city and they have land here in the city that we have to work with them on to make sure that our plan jives with their plan so that everybody's kind of flowing in the same thing. So what this here, all this is doing is the first step would be to find out who's interested, what the approximate cost, what the approximate time frame. They have estimates, just guesstimates, so they don't really want to share them out there too much. And the biggest thing that I think that this is that in talking with the planning department, public input is must, and it will be must, and will be involved. And he knows it, and he said the plan would not work without public input. So just know that all this is the starting point so that we can have, I guess maybe you call it a benchmark there, that, you know, where we start so we know it may take X amount of time, it may cost X amount of number, so that we're not going in there completely blind and say, all right, we need a comprehensive plan. Okay, let's do one. But we don't know who the players are that might want to do it. What was interesting too is I think, you know, who does comprehensive plans, but they're kind of like, they're planning architectural, landscape architectural, somebody that deals with land all the time. It's all they deal with. They deal with buildings, they deal with land, they deal with usage. And I guess there's quite a few companies out there in the country that do this. So this isn't punching the ball. This is just getting the process started so that we have an idea what the ball looks like. So that's all this is. This isn't something that locks us into anything except for starting the process. And Mayor, if you have anything more that you might want to add?
Well, I was going to ask the chair, this could have happened the other way around. It could have been the administration, because we too think that our comprehensive plan is the updated. The other way around, it could have been us saying to council, we would like to put out a request for interest, to update our comprehensive plan, or prepare an RFI, send it out there, score it, bid it, and then come to you and talk to you about who the available vendors would be. But I recognize there's an interest among the council to take a hard look at our comprehensive plan. We certainly welcome that opportunity. But know that in terms of internal staff, this would essentially close down that office if this was all that they were working on, if they were working on this themselves. And I think to Councilmember Tompkins' point, I had a conversation with the Director of Planning, Kevin Foreman. He has indicated to me that in all of his experience, these comprehensive plans need to have broad public participation. So, you know, the comments by some of the residents certainly are right on point. That's what it's needed.
Agenda item number 18.
So this is about the heads, right? Right, so I had an interesting conversation with the lovely young individual that I bought my home from. And she came and she said, I want you to vote no. And I was like, okay, so let's talk. So in my mind, I have so many different ways. I've heard from both sides. I've heard the yays and I've heard the nays. I've heard the pros, I've heard the cons. I've heard that, you know, chickens are gonna bring more rats. And I heard that, you know, actually one person called me and told me that they actually used to raise chickens. And they're kind of torn between the idea and, they enjoy the whole chicken raising experience. However, they said that they believe that this generation is irresponsible. And I said, ma'am, you're talking about probably this generation right now, so that was a little different. I'm a Libra by nature. I believe I need balance. I have to have balance. So I'm never one way too far one way or too far the other. As it pertains to that, for me, and then I've heard the argument that, we have problems enforcing A, B, and C, so why are we gonna add this? Well, here's my issue with that, and this is because this has been, for those of you who may not know, to me, this has been heavily engaged, more so probably than almost anything else that we have engaged in, even the SDR situation from all of last year, which was a lot of engagement. For me, I'm hoping that we're not a governing body of, all or nothing. That's where the level of balance comes in at, because there are some people who would want to do it. Like, for instance, there are a lot of illegal guns in the city of Niagara Falls, Buffalo, Western New York, period, right? But if I want to go and, apply to be a licensed carrier and do it the right way and pay all of the funding, take the classes, do my fingerprints, and pay for all of the things that I have to do to become a legal licensed gun holder, should that right be taken away from me because there are so many illegal guns in the city of Niagara Falls, or a lot of people being killed by illegal guns? Probably not. For me, so here's my balance, and here's the thing that I was able to talk to the last two people who actually called and opposed it, and they actually understood, and they said, you know what? That sounds about right. That would be fair, because I believe in being fair. For me, what I would suggest is that, especially being that we're not the first to do it, of course. This is not, it's done in Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and other municipalities as well. So, what would make sense would be, let's do a trial. Let's do a year trial. After there's any moratoriums, because we like the moratoriums, and once all the stuff is lifted, right? Let's do a year trial. And how about, instead of just saying, no, you can't have chickens out in my backyard, whatever the wording, let's do a year, and let's revisit it. And then it'll either be on one side or the other. So everything that you thought it was going to be, or everything that you thought it was going to be. Maybe it is a problem. Or maybe it won't be really a problem. Maybe we're making it something that it really isn't. But to be so yay or nay for something that is already in existence. And I have reached out to different municipalities that already had this ordinance in place. You know what they told me? And I expressed all of the concerns. I said, hey, they said this, they said that, they said it's an owner, they said, it's gonna create rats. Here's the thing about it. We bring rats in from New York City. Like, they're here. You know what I'm saying? So having a chicken coop is not going to create rats. What it might do is you feel like it might shift some of the rats from one part of the city to the next. But at the end of the day, it's cutting out the ordinance. I mean, it's not going to stop rats from being in the city of Niagara Falls. What I'm saying is that for us to be fair, and for us not to take away, not for us not to be an all or nothing government, let's give it a year. Why not try it? And it doesn't matter what people feel about self-sustainability. At the end of the day, that could be for some people. If I wanted a coop and I built one at my house, and I wanted to feed my neighbors when they laid their eggs or whatever the case is, and I wanted to give them, that should be my right. I just want to make sure that, when we're making these type of decisions, that we're not making it an all or nothing. You know what I mean? Let's be fair. Let's give it a try. That's a fair situation. And I think that's fair on both ends, for those people who are against it, and for those people who are for it. So at least we can see if it's something that is so bad, because most of the people that hit me up are not experts, have not raised one chicken. So it's hard for me to say, I'm going to make this decision and say no. But I'm not going to set it in stone either. So for me, and I don't know if that's something that I would probably have to make a motion to probably amend to add that to, but that's what I will do if that's what the case is. But I don't think we should vote it down. I think we should at least give it a try. What's the harm in it? And then, for all of the people who talk about all the other things that we deal with in the city of Niagara Falls, all of the lack of enforcement and whatnot, the amount of energy that was put on these chickens, let's put that on all of these other items like abandoned houses and, different things that we deal with, the lack of services, the lack of enforcement on all of the other things. We're probably halfway, got one foot on a banana peel and one off of not having a whole SPCA. There's a lot of other things that we're going to be dealing with in the city of Niagara Falls. Let's make sure we put energy on a lot of the other stuff too, because I feel like this chicken ordinance got a lot of airplay. And I think it's not really at the top of the priority list. But, however, let's make sure that we do it fair. Let's not be an all or nothing type of governing body.
Though some people may think it's restricted, is the City of Buffalo's ordinance. It's been in effect over 10 years. It's been very successful. It's part of their urban farming initiative. So it's not as restrictive even as you may think. To speak to some of the people that spoke tonight, this isn't about the cost and selling eggs and stuff like that. People that are going to invest, they're going to invest quite a bit of money into doing it and doing it right. This is about self-sustainability. It's about health. Fresh eggs are healthier for you than store-bought eggs. But I have a letter here to read to you guys, an email I shared with my colleague. It's from David Bauer, who was the city animal control officer for 8 years. So from 2014 to 2029 to 2022, I was assigned to the animal control unit of the Niagara Falls Police Department. During this time, while performing my duties, I did observe numerous properties that had chickens and hens. They were well hidden and located in appropriate chicken coops. When able to, I did advise the residents of the ordinance at the time and told them to get rid of the chickens. Going forward, I do fully support allowing chickens, hens only, in the city of Niagara Falls. Urban farming is very popular, well within the city of Buffalo and many other cities that allow it. I suggested if this ordinance is approved, that there be a list of established volunteers that would take stray or abandoned chickens. Stray abandoned chickens would be very rare. Most people who own chickens take very good care of them due to the number of eggs they lay. A properly constructed chicken coop would be required. TSC Traffic Line Military Road has all the required supplies needed. In further talking to Dave, he said that in his years out there, he took away very few chickens because he got very few complaints. Neighbors would not complain about chickens. They weren't an issue. They didn't make much noise. They didn't have any smell. They shared the eggs around the neighborhood, so people liked it. So this resolution comes forward. I brought it forward 2.5 years ago. It's not something that I don't personally want chickens in my backyard. I don't care if my neighbor has chickens in their backyard. But there's a lot of people that have chickens, and they don't want to come forward because they're afraid that they'll get their chickens taken away. But they have asked if I will put this forward. I've put it forward. I know it's been a great debate among my colleagues. We've gotten tons. We've gotten both for, we've gotten both against. So I'm moving it forward, and we're seeing where it goes. To speak quickly on number 19. Number 19 simply follows 18. If 18 passes, 19 has to be changed. If 18 fails, 19 stays put. That's just why we have two that look similar to each other. If we change the law, we have to amend the other one, so.
So this has been quite a debate, I think, and a topic of conversation between many of us here. I have to admit, when I first read the chicken ordinance as it's now been dubbed, right? So when I first read it, I was pleasantly surprised. I was really surprised with how much regulation was in there, the standards, and the enforcement that surrounded what was being put forward. So let me just talk about the enforcement for a second. So I had 39 people out, or 39 outreach from residents on this particular topic, which is the most that I've received on any topic since I've been here in council. And of those 39, 36 were against it, 3 were for it. And the thing that bubbled up to the top is, in fact, that the enforcement piece of it. And if there is capacity within our code enforcement, what I'd like to advocate for and ask our Director of Code Enforcement is to refocus and shift that capacity and people power resources towards the activities and initiatives to continue to clean up our city, which we have heard from so many speakers in the past meetings up at this podium. That's where I think our focus needs to be. I mean, look, I think we do need as a city to take steps forward towards urban farming. And one day I'd like to see Niagara Falls be ready for that and implement this ordinance. I just don't think that day is today.
Question, well, have we, is there a possibility to look into the Cornell Cooperative Extension? That would be something that could help, far as the regulation is concerned. For me, again, to vote something down on the grounds of, and there has also been a petition with